I take one weekend off to be with my family, and it's of course the weekend that we catch Amber's best friend and the whole legal team lying to the judge. Oh, we got to break this one down for you. I'm Andy Signore. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. We have a full day of Johnny coverage to get to, but I couldn't not cover this story because it's imperative we get the word out on how sneaky Team Amber is being, and it's only week one. This story is infuriating, guys. All right, so we talked a little bit about Eve Barlow before. Eve Fartlow, as I call her. Yeah, I'm going to own it now because I despise this woman. She is such a snake, and she is now caught doing the same thing that she's accusing everyone else of. Eve Barlow was booted from the court on Friday. We didn't know exactly why. We had seen this footage. Here's the footage in question. Eve Barlow's right here. She's Amber's best friend. Let me go to the full screen so you can see below. She's on her phone, on her laptop. This is all Team Amber right here. These are all Amber people checking and scouring social media. They're not supposed to be doing this. And she had handed over this phone to the Rottenborn, who's going through this image. It's unclear who's cropping what and who's doing what. But this was allegedly the image that brought all this attention to while Georgina, Johnny's friend, was on the stand. Right before Georgina was about to get pulled as a witness and her testimony stricken, it was due to this team finding an image on Instagram to get her out, to say, to trigger the questions of, have you been watching this trial? And here's the phone in question as they're going through the social media posts, etc., handed in by Eve, who's like, verifying and handing and talking about it. And we've had reports that Eve's the one who handed the phone over to document all this. Meanwhile, here's Amber spreading a note as they're all talking. All this is too much action. Team Johnny's just sitting. They're being calm, collected. They're not breaking any rules. But here you got a whole note system of weird phones and laptops and social media checking live as we're going. It's not right. So Georgina was booted, right? We know that so far. But here's where things get interesting. Eve Barlow, I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to get straight to the transcript. So here's the transcript in question from the court. This happened. We didn't get to hear this, but we got the court reporter. Okay, here's Johnny's lawyer. Your Honor, very briefly, may it please the court. Good morning, Your Honor. Ben Chu for Johnny Depp. I have a matter. It's a very serious one. Won't take much time. Okay. May I approach? Yes, sir. Your Honor, we are moving, or Mr. Depp is moving, for the permanent exclusion of Eve Barlow. Eve Barlow? Who's Eve Barlow? Eve Barlow is a journalist and Miss Heard's current girlfriend. So that's why Eve Barlow's been up on us so hard. Not because she's the unbiased Amber fan. She's Amber's girlfriend. Okay, it makes so much more sense. Okay, imagine leaving Johnny Depp and now being stuck with Eve Barlow. Sorry, but let me keep on. I digress. She was sitting in the front row yesterday, and the court ordered her to the back row, and then she was later, as I will discuss in a minute, thrown out at 4:31 p.m. by Lieutenant Porter. But if I could explain to the court what the court is seeing, you will recall yesterday, Mr. Rottenborn came up with what was Miss Barlow's phone. Okay, and he showed you the first document that you're looking at, the shorter version, right? The text. This is a text from Miss Deuters, Gina Deuters. We understand that she was properly excluded, but this is what he showed, Your Honor, saying to the court, representing to the court that Miss Deuters had texted since the start of this trial. And Your Honor, will see that Mr. Rottenborn shown you did not have the date. If you look at the second document, you will see, Your Honor, I'm sorry, it's an Instagram post. So Mr. Rottenborn, it's not like I would know the difference, but I thank you for the clarification. You're welcome. I didn't give my age, but so what Mr. Rottenborn showed you was Miss Deuters' Instagram post without the date. And the second document you're looking at was her post, and it shows the date, which makes it very clear that this was January 8, 2021. That is material misrepresentation. Miss Deuters posted this during the London trial. So hold on. What? Yes. Gina, who was kicked out, they basically took a screenshot of this Instagram post, which Eve did, cropped the date out, which would have shown it was from the UK trial, where she says, our dear friend's got a few wins in court this week and yet some press coverage to belittle him as desperate in this plight. You know what? Anyway, this was reacting to the UK trial, not the trial we're currently in. That was very disturbing to see that they did this. We believe it was fraud upon the court. We believe that Mr. Rottenborn, an officer of the court, should have taken a look at what he was handing up to the court, especially since it was handed to him by someone improperly sitting in the first row, a reporter, and Miss Heard's girlfriend. And that's not where it ends, Your Honor, unfortunately. Miss Barlow has been passing notes to and from Miss Heard from the beginning of the trial. And she's been sending out live tweets throughout the trial. Is she still sending out tweets? She was as of 4:31 yesterday when she was removed from this court. I might approach, and I'll do it one more time. This was Miss Barlow's post during Miss Vasquez opening, and you'll see her, the court. So she was tweeting from the courtroom? She was tweeting in the courtroom. She was sitting right there tweeting during Miss Vasquez's opening. Your Honor may remember that Miss Vasquez said that Miss Heard was giving the performance, would be giving the performance of her lifetime. So she says in real time, actually, it was Vasquez who was giving the performance of a lifetime of her life. So this is contemporaneous. Sorry, I said that wrong. Contemporaneous with my colleague's opening. She's live tweeting and getting it all out to the public. And finally, and this is the last time I'm sorry, Your Honor will remember that when we first raised this issue, Your Honor ordered people to the back. So Miss Barlow reluctantly left. The first seat went to the back. And this is the tweet that got her thrown out the last time. What does Amber Heard hope to achieve? She has a gorgeous 1-year-old daughter, and she said she was beginning the rest of my life in 2021, 12 months after her mother died. And it was at that point that Lieutenant Porter saw her violating the court's order and asked her to leave. Now, Your Honor, if this were just an isolated, well, actually, I'll take that back. It's more. If you violate the order, you violate the order. It's more than enough to get her thrown out permanently, but it also takes place in a context. Your Honor will remember that inappropriate disclosure of the SA violations in violation of the Political Protection Order, perhaps more egregiously because people weren't on participating by VXism. 2 days before trial, Ms. Heard posted her own Instagram post with her opening argument, and I understand none of the juries referred to it, but she made it very clear in her Instagram post that Mr. Depp's name wasn't mentioned in her op-ed, which was the primary feature of Mr. Rottenborn's opening. That was really egregious. Then during my opening to try and throw me off, Elaine made an improper objection saying, you know, and she tried to mention it. The point is, Your Honor, the court's orders must mean something. We're trying to play by the rules here, and it's outrageous what Miss Barlow has done. She was thrown out yesterday, and all we're asking, a very limited form of relief, is that she be barred from attending for the rest of the trial. All right, Elaine, Amber's attorney, thank you, Your Honor. I actually had absolutely no clue that she was going to raise this morning, so I'm responding to it cold. First of all, Eve Barlow is not a journalist. Second of all, she's not Miss Heard's. Well, you know, I really don't care about all that. She was tweeting live in my courtroom. This is 4:31. Elaine, I don't know about that, Your Honor. Well, I do. I can read it. 4:31, April 14th. Elaine, I know the court interrupts. I know that the deputies took her out because she was texting. That's against the court order. I don't let anybody. If I find anybody else texting, they don't get to come back in. So why would she be able to come back in? Elaine, and I have no knowledge of this, Your Honor. And I know you didn't. And I understand that. And I mean, like I say, when people were passing notes, I thought, well, legal teams, that's why I gave you the first row, because of legal teams. And then more information comes to me in bits and pieces that it's not legal team. Okay, so move back. Elaine. But then she's still texting. So, Elaine says, and let me back up just a little bit. Miss Barlow was not here during the opening. She was not present in the courtroom. And so the court, well, she was present when she did this live tweet in my courtroom. Elaine, and well, that may be, Your Honor. I have no knowledge of it. I had no knowledge of it, and I have no way to address that, Your Honor. Well, I do, says the judge. Miss Barlow is not coming back into the courtroom during this trial. Elaine, okay. The court, okay? All right. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. This concludes the considered portion. So, guys, this is not going to get to the jury, which is really frustrating to see the first of all, it's a lie, Elaine. Again, so here's during this portion of Georgina talking.
On the plane that I was on, it was Johnny.
Here's Ben
Jerry
getting
Judge,
her attention,
Dutas,
telling her about this whole thing.
Debbie Lloyd, and myself, and maybe one other.
Telling all this, getting this thing, and then here's what happens. This prompts the stand up.
You mentioned
like,
the name
do it.
there. I don't think we've heard before. Can you just tell the jury quickly who Debbie Lloyd is?
And then they stand up based on an Instagram post that's invalid, without a date, a random thing they just saw. They go up, and she's now removed. That's it. The judge asked her, "Have you seen testimony?" And Gina goes, "Have you seen it?" And she's like, "Well, I've seen clips." And "Have you seen the witness?" And she's like, "I've seen clips of it." My God, who hasn't seen clips of this? They didn't even get to. Well, what did you see? What did you watch? What did you? No. Just what if she was walking by the news in the airport? It's so egregious what's happened here, all because Eve Barlow's out there cheating, not doing a real fight. It's this is terrifying, guys. The resorts they go to, and you want to tell me, oh, she had nothing. She had no idea, guys. She had no idea. Really? How about this? Who you winking at, Eve? Who were you winking? Oh, sorry, you don't see it. Who were you winking at, Eve?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Look at that.
we just have to take a few housekeeping matters up, so we're just going to have you take a recess for a few minutes,
Look at
okay?
that.
So again, no outside research and don't talk to anybody.
We got her. Straight to Elaine. Oh, Elaine has no idea who she is. Oh no, Elaine's not part of this at all. Oh no. I have no idea, Your Honor. This is the first I'm hearing of it. I don't know what you're referring to. Except, that time she winked at me after the time she got the note, and I clearly knew she handed the note. But I don't know what you're speaking about, Your Honor. And what's so problematic about all of this is not the first lie that Elaine's been caught in. It's also not the first lie that Amber's been caught on. We're going to get there in a second. But it's really imperative you understand how this all works. Now, lawyers, I guess, are allowed to lie, I've learned, which is really crazy.
When you said
But
all this, and
wanna watch
then
this
there was a
again.
divorce settlement, you got $7 million. People were saying this is all about the money. But then you did something that
On these faces she
twisted
gives.
that whole argument. What did you do with that money?
$7 million in total was donated to, I split it between the ACLU and Children's Hospital of Los Angeles.
ACLU is a human rights organization.
Sorry, ACLU is a prominent, it's called the American
Right.
Civil Liberties Union. They work on behalf of marginalized communities
Later, we would learn
on the
was working
ground
with
and
her.
legislative reform.
Right.
And
Well, more power to you, because that's something that I've never
I
heard
wanted
of.
nothing.
I wanted nothing. Look at that. I wanted nothing. Oh, really, Amber? Really, Amber? Well, here's Elaine confirming that one. Confirms her client has yet to fulfill the $7 million pledges she made to either. Amber has already been responsible for 7 figures in donations to charitable causes and intends to continue to just to causes, even though she was contractually obligated to give it to these due to a divorce settlement. Well, she hasn't been able to and continues to contribute and eventually will fulfill her pledge. Elaine eventually explains. However, Amber has been delayed in that goal because Mr. Depp filed a lawsuit against her and consequently has now been forced to spend millions of dollars defending Mr. Depp's false accusations against her. Oh, is that right? Is that right? Well, we know when you got the payments. And here's the timeline in question. You had the payments, the full $7 million, on February 1st, 2018. February 1st, 2018. What is that? February to June. The Sun articles published on the 27th. So you had what, 3 months? And then you had another 5-6 months before the lawsuit was placed against the Sun, mind you, not against Amber, against the Sun. And then why would she have to defend herself in the Sun? She wouldn't have had, right, guys? And then on the 18th of 2018, she's on the radio, on the TV saying, yeah, $7 million I donated. I wanted nothing. And then she posts her op-ed, December 2018. And then in 2019, March, that's when the was filed. So basically she had that money for over a year. She had that money for 13 months. 13 months she was sitting on $7 million. And, January 19th, Children's Hospital sends her a letter saying they have never received the promised $3.5 million. Can you imagine? The Children's Hospital of LA, you've been on television saying you gave the money to them, and you didn't. That's the woman we're fighting against. And there's the lawyer. There's the lawyer who's going to lie about it. Sorry, make sure I have all my... Elaine just doesn't care. Elaine's going to lie about it. She says it, yeah. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, she's gonna. But then Johnny sued us, so blah, 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 blah. Elaine, man, you are caught so often with this crap. It's just sickening. And then I want to go through one more lie while I have you really quickly, and this is an important one. The doctor has now given her testimony. I'm talking about the marriage counselor, and a lot of people are talking about, well, it was mutual. Huge lie caught, and thanks to all the eagle-eyed people paying attention, we got 2 documents that I can show you. This is what, the depositions, etc. It happened on the night of the 15th. This was the worst night of our relationship. That's when things happened. However, the notes from the doctor, they make it very clear. It was the morning. That morning is when she was, and not only did she explain all the worst that happened, she also wanted to ask the marriage counsel, should she call the police, or she doesn't want a divorce, but she wants to divorce. But will she have an advantage if she leaves him but files with the police before? Literally talking about what kind of will I have the advantage to her marriage counselor while she's now giving her marriage counsel the improper deposition that she gives later. Was it morning? Was it night? How do you forget that? How do you forget that? That's on the same day. Oh, it was the morning. Oh no, it was the night. Dude, Amber girl, you're caught. You look awful. And Eve Barlow, Eve, you are the worst. Eve Fartlow, we should get it trending again. Despicable. You are despicable. You don't care about the truth. She's just your girlfriend. I'm glad we finally got the bias explained. That's why. That's why she's there. That's why they're so tight. There they are. Why you don't quit standing up for Amber? She doesn't care about you. She's got no one left. Making her cold the groceries. Oh my goodness. Oh, I despise these women. It's sickening. It is sickening what they've done to Johnny, and we'll be covering it all week for you here on this channel. So make sure you subscribe. If you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Can you make sure you are subscribed? Hit the bell for all alerts. Hit that like button while you're on there and leave a comment. What do you think of all this? And if you really, really are frustrated, share it. Get the word out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Lots more coverage coming this week, and we will break it down for you all the time. Thanks for watching, guys.